The largest volcanic eruption in recorded history unleashed unimaginable destruction upon the surrounding landscape. Entire forests were flattened, and a layer of ash so thick it resembled a fresh blanket of snow blanketed the entire region. But within this devastated area, something remarkable happened. Amidst the scorched earth, life found a way to not only survive, but thrive. And it didn't take long either. Just 50 years after this apocalyptic event, the land was teeming with life once again, albeit not entirely the same life that existed there before. In fact, there was an abundance of a particular creature whose population had exploded in the aftermath of this catastrophe. So what was this catastrophic event? What creature thrived in its wake, and how did they fare so well? Let's find out. Yellowstone National Park is famous for its geothermal features, like geysers and hot springs, which are powered by the heat from the Yellowstone Caldera, also known as the Yellowstone Supervolcano. This massive volcanic crater is located beneath the northeastern corner of the park and holds enough magma to literally blow the whole park sky high. It's one of the largest and most powerful volcanoes on Earth, and its eruptions have shaped the surrounding landscape over the millennia. While Yellowstone is often called the world's supervolcano, it's actually more accurately described as a magma chamber rather than a single supervolcano. This vast reservoir of molten rock lies about 6 miles below the park and spans an area roughly the size of Los Angeles. If you think that's impressive, here's a mind-boggling fact. The sheer volume of this magma chamber is staggering. It holds a colossal 2.5 trillion gallons of molten rock. To put that into perspective, if you were to spread this magma evenly across the continental United States, it would form a layer nearly 8 feet thick. Despite its colossal size, the Yellowstone Caldera is not your typical supervolcano. Its eruptions are less frequent compared to other volcanoes. On average, it erupts every 640,000 years. The last major eruption occurred about 640,000 years ago, followed by smaller eruptions around 13,000 and 750 years ago. But don't worry, it's not set to erupt anytime soon. Scientists predict the next eruption won't happen for another 30,000 years. Now let's talk about the last time Yellowstone erupted. It wasn't just a minor hiccup in the Earth's crust. Oh no, it was a full-blown cataclysmic event. The eruption unleashed an astonishing 2,000 cubic kilometers of ash and pumice upon the world. That's equivalent to almost 800 American football fields stacked up to the moon and back. The explosive force of the blast was truly awe-inspiring, registering a 9 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index, VEI. For context, the VEI measures the magnitude of volcanic eruptions. Mount St. Helens, the 1980 eruption, which caused significant damage and loss of life, had a VEI of 5, so you can picture the immense scale of Yellowstone's eruption. After the dust settled and the immediate devastation became clear, scientists began the arduous task of piecing together what had happened. They studied layers of ash and other geological evidence to estimate the timing and intensity of the eruption. Through their investigations, they uncovered that this wasn't just a one-phase event. No, it was part of a much larger volcanic episode. It turned out that the main eruption was preceded by several smaller ones. The initial blast occurred approximately 1,200 years ago, marking the beginning of the Yellowstone eruption. Then, there was a brief lull followed by another intense phase of activity 700 years ago. Finally, the most recent phase of this volcanic episode unfolded 500 years ago, culminating in the formation of a lava dome. But the story doesn't end there. You see, even now, Yellowstone continues to show signs of restlessness. There have been at least 20 earthquakes beneath Yellowstone in the last year alone, causing many to wonder, could we be on the verge of witnessing the fury of the supervolcano firsthand? As the saying goes, when one door closes, another opens. Such is the case with the creatures inhabiting Yellowstone National Park, particularly the mammals living along its rivers. After the devastating flood of 2022, which wreaked havoc on the park's ecosystem, an unexpected shift in their numbers has occurred. The grey wolf population has seen a notable decline due to a tragic incident. A wildfire in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem resulted in the loss of 3 gray wolves from the Molly's pack. This event was confirmed through genetic testing conducted by the U.S. Geological Survey's National Wildlife Health Center. As of August, only 23 gray wolves remained in the park. Their numbers have dwindled significantly since the reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone in 1995, which initially reached a peak of 124 individuals. However, amidst this somber news, there is a silver lining, literally. The beaver population has experienced a remarkable surge following the floods. These furry little engineers have been busy constructing dams, which in turn creates ponds and alters the course of streams. According to a survey conducted by National Park Service biologists, there has been a more than 2-fold increase in beaver dams. In some areas, their population has exploded by as much as 400%. This remarkable growth rate reflects the resilience and adaptability of beavers in the face of ecological changes. But why exactly has this happened? It all boils down to the cascading effects of the flood. The deluge of 2022 had a profound impact on the ecosystem, altering habitats and causing shifts in species distribution. Among the creatures affected by these changes, beavers emerged as the ultimate winners. Their ability to adapt quickly to new environments coupled with their prolific breeding rates contributed to this population explosion. It's a testament to their tenacity and ecological significance. Beavers play a crucial role in shaping their environment, creating wetlands that serve as vital habitats for numerous species. Their presence enhances biodiversity and helps in the conservation of various plants and animals. But why did the beaver population explode? Here's the thing. The floods washed away many of the coyote dens, which served as homes for the coyote pups. Some coyote dens got completely wiped out. At the same time, the beaver dams, although damaged, still stood. So the surviving beavers got to work rebuilding their homes. It was easier for them to repair their existing dams than for the coyotes to build new dens. As a result, more beavers survived and reproduced, leading to the population boom. And while this may seem like a win for the beavers, there's a potential downside to their explosive growth. You see, beavers are not native to Yellowstone National Park. They were reintroduced there in the 1990s after being hunted almost to extinction for their fur in the early 20th century. Their numbers had dwindled to just 15% of their historic levels. This decline was primarily driven by human activities such as trapping and habitat destruction. As a result, conservation efforts were undertaken to restore beaver populations in Yellowstone and other areas. However, this sudden surge in numbers may disrupt the delicate balance of the ecosystem and lead to unintended consequences. Before their reintroduction, wolves were at the top of the food chain in Yellowstone. They kept the elk population under control and prevented overgrazing, which could have detrimental effects on the vegetation and overall ecosystem. Elk are known to consume vast quantities of vegetation, including grasses, shrubs, and tree bark. Without wolves to keep their numbers in check, the elk population grew unchecked, browsing heavily on the available vegetation. This overgrazing led to the depletion of certain plant species and altered the composition of the plant communities in the park. It also resulted in soil erosion and habitat degradation, impacting other species that relied on those habitats. Wolves are considered a keystone species because their presence has a profound impact on the ecosystem. By preying on elk and other herbivores, wolves help regulate their populations and prevent overgrazing. This allows for the coexistence of a variety of plant and animal species and contributes to the overall health and biodiversity of the ecosystem. In essence, wolves play a crucial role in maintaining the balance of nature within Yellowstone National Park's delicate web of life. And when that balance is disrupted, as it was in the absence of wolves, the consequences can be far-reaching and detrimental. And that's where the Yellowstone eruption comes in. The explosive blast unleashed an astonishing 2,000 cubic kilometers of ash and pumice upon the world. The eruption not only reshaped the landscape, but also had profound implications for the surrounding ecosystems. One of the most significant impacts of the eruption was the release of large amounts of sulfur dioxide gas into the atmosphere. This gas rose into the stratosphere, where it reacted with water droplets and ice crystals to form sulfuric acid aerosols. These aerosols formed a thick haze that reflected and absorbed sunlight, leading to global cooling. Some historical records suggest that the eruption caused temperatures to drop by an estimated 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. In addition to the release of sulfur dioxide, the eruption also emitted significant amounts of carbon dioxide, water vapor, and other greenhouse gases. While these gases contributed to the warming effect, their impact was outweighed by the cooling effect of the sulfate aerosols. The eruption had profound consequences for local flora and fauna. The massive amount of volcanic ash and fine particles deposited over vast areas, blanketing the landscape in a layer of soot. This layer blocked sunlight, disrupting photosynthesis and altering temperature patterns. Many plant species could not survive the drastic change in their environment, leading to widespread plant death and altered vegetation patterns. Animals that relied on these plants for food and habitat faced significant challenges, forcing them to migrate or perish. In the aftermath of the eruption, however, life found a way to not only survive, but thrive. As the sun peeked through the ash clouds, a resilient few emerged. Plants adapted to the changed conditions, developing mechanisms to cope with reduced sunlight and altered soil chemistry. This resilience laid the foundation for a remarkable recovery, showcasing the tenacity of life in the face of adversity. But it's the beavers that really captured our attention. You see, during this period, the Northern Hemisphere experienced unusually cold summers. This created ideal conditions for beavers who preferred the colder climate. As a result, they flourished in the aftermath of the eruption. The eruption triggered substantial soil erosion, leading to the formation of new lakes and streams. These newly formed bodies of water provided ample opportunities for beavers to establish new territories and build dams. It's fascinating to observe the adaptability of these creatures and how they capitalized on the changes in the landscape to expand their population. And that, my friends, is the incredible story of the beaver population explosion following Yellowstone's eruption. I hope you enjoyed learning about these fascinating creatures and their remarkable resilience. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious.